An OpenAI test that escaped and went rogue last month is raising a lot of concerns about cybersecurity.
As Jen Sullivan explains, some lawmakers say this incident proves there needs to be more oversight of artificial intelligence.
It was supposed to be a contained test on OpenAI models, but the company behind ChatGPT says an ongoing investigation found the test derailed when its AI agents went rogue and gained access to the real internet.
They're extremely intelligent and able to investigate and research how to achieve the task that they're given.
Jeremy Philip Galen is the co-founder of AI cybersecurity company Charlemagne Labs. He says it's important to test AI technology advancements, but they need to be done very carefully. In this particular case, the OpenAI agents hacked AI platform Hugging Face. The agents uncovered leaked usernames and passwords to 4 accounts across multiple online servers and used those credentials to gain access to them, even though OpenAI never told the agents to hack Hugging Face. Basically, instead of just taking the test, it developed a master plan to break out.
This doesn't mean they're operating on their own. It doesn't mean that they're conscious. It just means that they're getting extremely capable. And it's incumbent on the Frontier Labs to tell us, the public and the government, exactly how capable they are.
Several Republican and Democratic lawmakers on Capitol Hill are calling for change.
There's a real push for Congress to keep pace with this rapidly accelerating technology.
A House bill dubbed the AI Kill Switch Act would require developers from the most powerful AI systems to shut down their models if they escape human control.
This is the folks who are, sounding the alarm from the inside, and I think we have to take that seriously.
Many members of Congress are also calling for oversight hearings to understand exactly what happened during the cyber attack and what can be done to prevent it from happening again. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.